Anastasi, and welcome to the Angel News Network. Today we're going to be talking with the Archangel Gabriel through Trance channel Robert Baker. Well, it's wonderful to be with you again, Gabriel. We worked together for 2 years on interviews that I conducted to create the material that we developed into the Second Coming. The Archangel Gabriel proclaims a new age.
Yes, we have developed quite a relationship, have we not?
Yeah, it was absolutely delightful and very fulfilling. And the book came out just about exactly 2 years ago, and I've gotten feedback from unexpected places. Like, it wasn't long ago I got a message from a lady in Norway, and I received another one from the Middle East talking about how rewarding they found the book. And I have conducted some book discussion groups, as have some other people, and the feedback is consistently very strong and positive.
Oh, good. So we are reaching a general audience with who is able to understand what we are conveying. That is, we are pleased with that.
One thing that we thought would be valuable for the folks who are observing the Angel News Network is for you to tell our audience what the value of the book is from your perspective.
And you see, the archangelic realm is a connecting point between God consciousness and the physical. Each member of the archangelic realm is there to perform a specific duty, and our duty is to bring to people the how to connect to the truth of their being through the awakening of what we call the soul, which is the individual truth of their being and how that is expressed through the physical body and the form and through the personality. And so our intention, if you will, is to help people, give them step-by-step process, if you will, of how to awaken that within themselves, and also in the process of revealing through the information that we give of how, as a unified whole, you are in a state of evolution that is gradually awakening the whole consciousness of your planet and the spiritual experience in the physical experience of matter, where human experience is concerned, and the other forms of nature as well. But mainly it is at this time that mankind is moving from one root race of development to another. You are moving, if you will, into the spiritual root race of your development, and that involves the awakening of the soul, as was foretold by the one Christ, where that is concerned, in the Christian mythology, Christian religion. And so it is the awakening of the self to the mastery of the personality in the lower self through the awakening of the spiritual truth of your being as an individual. And that brings the whole of spiritual consciousness into an individual experience for each and every form.
And of course our book talks about that. One of the fundamental teachings in the book is the idea that in this next 2,000-year age, the awakening of the soul of mankind will unfold.
Yes, yes.
And the announcement of Jesus, the birth of Jesus 2,000 years, was one of the first steps in that whole process, was it not?
Yes, it was simply there to create an imprint in the consciousness of the whole of humanity. You see, the one Jesus the Christ was a master who incarnated in a physical form for the purpose of serving the consciousness of humanity in the next step or stage of its development, just as the Buddha was before that, and Krishna and Vishnu and all of them down through the ages that have taken on the particular task as masters to illustrate for humanity in their consciousness the next stage of development, where the blueprint of their evolution is concerned. And so Christ brought in the introduction of the love force. The love force, which is, if you will, the force of the soul. The force of the individual awakening of the God experience in form. And so that's what his message was. and he brought it in through the 7 stages of that development, which are the 7 stages of self-mastery that were used in all of the ancient mystery schools and their teachings and their practices.
Which has to do with the birth and the baptism. And
the birth, the baptism, the transfiguration, the renunciation, the resurrection, or the crucifixion, the resurrection, and the ascension.
Right, exactly.
Those are the 7 stages of childhood development as well.
Now, is there any simple or easy to understand way of explaining, of relating the work of the archangelic realm of Gabriel to another archangelic realm? For example, we have been working a great deal at the Angel News Network with the archangelic realm of Michael. So we would be interested in hearing your version of how the realms complement each other in terms of their work.
Well, to put it simply, the archangelic realm of Gabriel is to reveal the individual truth of being through the awakening of the soul. And the soul is the part of the self, the spirit. It's the joining of the bridge between spirit and matter that brings about the experience of life as an experience of service to the whole, so that you're no longer operating through separated consciousness where it's just about me, me, me. It's now about we, we, we.
Right.
The Michael energy and the archangelic realm of Michael is about the use of the power of creation and how that is wielded and how it is used for the purpose of manifestation and for the purpose of building and performing the use of the powers of creation from the atomic structure on up to the realm of manifestation, and how to use that power for the purpose of creation in the world of manifestation, and to use it for the balancing of power through in every individual form and its expression. The symbol of Gabriel is, as you use it, is the symbol of the trumpet. Mm-hmm. And this is the announcement of the truth of being.
Right.
The symbol of Michael has been the symbol of the sword, which is the cutting away of all that stands in error or in controlling the use of power for misuse, and finding the central point of light where that power is concerned that brings everything into balance. Mm-hmm. Do you see?
Yeah.
For instance, the ancient story. You remember the legend of King Arthur.
Right.
And how he takes the sword from the stone, and that is how they know that he is to be king.
Right.
Do you see? And because he is a person who's reached a certain level of soul development where he's ready to take on the practices and the learning of the uses of power and how to wield it for the leadership role of teaching people how to become their own leaders and how to balance their power and how to be of service. Do you see?
Yes. Thank you, Gabriel.
You're most welcome.
Gabriel, as I said, I've done some. I've led some book discussion groups with our book, The Second Coming. One of the things people are remarking about is that the interviews began in the year 2003, and so many of the things you prophesied, they've seen come true. One of the observations you made was that we were going to be experiencing, and we have been experiencing it for a long time, the higher vibration energies coming into the earth plane, which was raising consciousness. And one of the effects of this energy was that all systems, economic, government, religious, etc., that contributed to separation and inequality were going to be imploding.
Yes.
And it's just been extraordinary what we've seen, certainly on the economic plane, in the financial field, with what's been going on with companies and all of the global crises with currencies and all the rest of it. It's just really extraordinary. Can you the last interview I did with you, that's in the book, is 2007, so 3 years have gone by. And can you bring us up to date as what the effects of these energies have been having, and are we going to be experiencing more of the same?
You will be experiencing more of the same in different ways. First of all, you're going through a cycle from 94 to 2012, which is a cycle of the integration of duality. Duality is an experience of opposition where the pairs of opposites are concerned. You experience life through opposites. And you experience life through opposites in the physical world for the purpose of experience. Because one side reveals the other, reveals the other. The dark reveals the night reveals the day, where that is concerned. And so that is important to understand. And all of your systems are based upon those opposites, except you use them for duality. And all those dualistic systems now are shattering. They are in the process of falling apart. You're in the process of restructuring. That's because your dominant ray of consciousness that governs this 2,000-year cycle is the seventh ray of consciousness. And the seventh ray is the ray, it's the spiritual ray, that reforms all material structure. It is the magical ray. And it is the ray that reforms all structure into a united form where the spiritual energy is concerned, because it is one of the highest vibrations where that is concerned. Also, your solar system is moving through, or the photon belt is moving through your planetary system, which is raising the vibration of everything physical. It has not yet penetrated the Earth. It's penetrated the outer planets. When the vibration is raised, it is a process of quantum physics. It causes an entrainment process. So everything of lower vibration starts to raise itself to higher vibration, and that creates a tremendous process of transmutation and transformation. And so everything that has been of a lower vibration that is related to control and the dramas of domination and separation that now comes into the unified field of those higher vibrations has to reform itself. And so the seventh ray is responsible for the breaking down of old structures and the reforming of new structures based upon the unified field. And so that's what's happening at this time. In this coming year, we call this coming year the year of the integration of truth, because it is the year that the soul is beginning to penetrate the personality aspect of your physical being and beginning to raise the vibration of all physical forms in a very real way. And it will be penetrating the first chakra or energy center or level of consciousness of the body, which is your survival consciousness, and the physical forms. So it will bring about, in the first quadrant of the year, the breakdown of old structures and the revelation and reevaluation of many things. Whereas the second quadrant of the year will bring about, in the second chakra of manifestation, the emotional chakra, will bring about the release of all attachments to the world of form as the source and substance of reality, and the seeking of the experience of life through pain and pleasure, which is what duality causes. And instead, because you see, when you see the world of reality as sourced in the physical, you are automatically in the experience of pain and pleasure. When you see reality as a source within, then you begin to contact the essence of the soul, which is the joyfulness and peacefulness of being. And so that's what's happening in this time when it's concerned. The breakdown of the old forms and the restructuring. So you'll see a lot of both happening in this coming year. Breakdown and restructuring, breakdown and restructuring, or at least the penetration of higher consciousness into the old structures and the questioning of that, those old structures and their forms. And also the revelation of all the secrets.
Of secrets, you said?
Revelation of secrets.
Boy, we're seeing a lot of that right now.
We see that, yes.
The Wikipedia thing and all
yes.
the rest of it?
All secrets being revealed. Everything is kept in secret. You see? Because as you move into a unified consciousness, as things start to interconnect, you can't have secrets any longer. All the secrets are revealed.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, the secrets that of the control dramas are being revealed, but also the secrets of creation are being revealed. As you are able to take responsibility for those powers of higher consciousness, and thus the energy of Michael, the energy of power, the power of creation,
Mm-hmm.
you see, that comes in. Michael is wielding a sword.
Right. It sounds like 2011 is a real prelude for 2012, which
Yes.
we've been all hearing about, and everybody, you ask 10 people to explain what 2012 is, and you get 10 different explanations. I think everybody is confused about what's coming up.
It's simply the end of history as you've known it, and the beginning of a new reality that introduces for the first time the initiation of multidimensional awareness. So you start to move out of time-space continuum, past, present, and future as your only frame of reference. You start to move into the interconnection of all things as a unified field of consciousness. And you start to interpenetrate that. And you start to experience multidimensional reality. The ability to perceive many things at once rather than one thing at a time.
Now, how is that likely to
And that moves you into the higher sensory apparatus of the soul.
how is that likely to affect the average person?
Well, it will, first of all, there will be a heightening of awareness in their 5 physical senses. Their 5 physical senses will become heightened in various ways. Where their seeing is concerned, they will start to create a joining together between insight and objective reality. So as you look at an object with your physical eyes and experience the sight, you behind the physical eyes in the inner eye, you will start to understand immediately the reason behind the form, or the insight behind the form. Do you understand? The subjective
Right.
behind the objective. Do you see? That may come as an inspiration. It may come as an insight. It may come as a telepathic connection between you and the object. Do you see?
So people's awareness
It moves now to a higher vibration and multidimensional experience.
okay,
Now, it's not going to happen to the same degree for everyone,
of course.
because dependent upon where you are in your incarnational development is the amount of insight that you will be able to perceive as this is taking place, and that is as it needs to be. Because you don't want to overwhelm a grade 3 person who is in grade 3
Right.
with grade 7 information. That wouldn't serve any
Right.
purpose, you
Right.
see?
Mhm.
But all of the levels are of equal value, do you see?
Right.
And they will receive an increased awareness and an increased ability to relate on the level of the penetration of the soul beginning to guide the personality or the lower self.
We are exposed to a great deal of spiritual wisdom on, in quotes, on the internet. And people, of course, have to bring their own judgment as to how credible it is. At the very beginning of Obama's administration, you said to me that the jury was still out, I think was the word you went about Mr. Obama. At the same time, we were getting a lot of spiritual endorsement of Mr. Obama, that he is in a sense, an instrument of spirit, working towards unity.
Which so is everyone.
Well, the point I was going to make was that that was different from what you were saying. So what I'm asking you now is, what observations would you make about Mr. Obama and his administration, especially within the context of the spiritual evolution of the United States?
You see, dear one, first you have to understand that these people that are heads of different organizations, whether it be a political organization, a social structure, a religion, or this, that, or the other thing, they are simply symbols. They are simply representatives. Do you see?
Mhm.
And the ones that control the representatives are the ones that have the so-called power. But what humanity has not yet a grasp of and has not yet understood in any way, shape or form for the most part. Some individuals do or are beginning to grasp it. But is what power is. And power has nothing to do with control. So power is something that holds a tremendous responsibility because it is a position of service. Control and domination is not service. Do you see?
Mhm.
Someone such as Mr. Obama, as you call him, doesn't have the ability to wield any real power because his actions and his decisions and choices as a representative are controlled by those behind the curtain.
Right.
You see, if you look at it from the position of a stage play, let's say, all of the technicians behind the scenes are controlling what you see in front of you, the illusion that you see in front of you. Do you see?
Mhm.
And the actors on the stage are the representatives of that illusion that's being created. They are acting it out. Do you see? It is a bit like a magician performing a trick. He keeps your attention over here while he performs the trick over here, the sleight of hand. Do you see? The attention that he's keeping over here is the representative. Do you see? That keeps your attention. Choosing someone such as Obama as your representative is a wonderful foil for the general public because he believes very strongly in what he believes to be the truth. He is inexperienced where those behind the scenes are concerned, in the snake pit, as they sometimes call it. And he has naivete, but he also has a very innocent kind of ideology. He's very idealistic. And so that captures the attention and the innocence and the ignorance of the people. Do you see? And so he is like a distraction. But he is finding that as he serves in his administration, that he is becoming disillusioned with where his ideology is concerned and beginning to see his own naivete and lack of experience because he's seeing that he really doesn't have the power, and you can see that in the ways in which he's made adjustments and how he keeps trying to serve all sides where that is concerned and not make firm decisions that are without compromise. Do you see? The special interests are still in charge.
Right.
Your government is not a democratic government. There's no such thing as a democratic government. It is a corporate government. It does good to reveal the truth of what is taking place where the evolutionary process is concerned, but if you don't have tools to put it into practice, then
Right.
you become an observer of it rather than a partaker of it.
You have had a long association, of course, with the Mother of Jesus, Mary. What can you tell me about the combined energies of Mary Magdalene and Mary and their mission? First of all, I have a follow-up question.
Well, first of all, what they are there to reveal more than anything is the importance of the divine feminine as it relates to the actions and activities of form, and how to best create a sense of home, a sense of comfort, a sense like a womb space for the soul. Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
Because the feminine and the divine feminine is representative of the world, or the womb of manifestation. Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
The word Mary in its ancient meaning means womb of matter. And the name Mary is used in all of the ancient cosmology stories, which is all the same story as the story of Christ, which is about the birth of spirit into matter and its awakening process. Do you see?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what the purpose of matter is. The purpose of matter is for the experiential evolutionary awakening of the God force in the expression, experience, and creative process and evolution of form. And it is the divine feminine that gives it the place of gestation and regeneration.
Now, within the context of the work we've already done, what would be valuable areas to pursue in a project with the two Marys from your perspective that would complement some of the work we've done? Do you have any thoughts about that?
How to nurture the experience of life. Just quite simply. Because that is what the Divine Mother is about. How to nurture all of the different aspects of form life. Individually, from the point of view of the development of something, whether it be a project, whether it be an idea, whether it be a situation, an event. Nurturing the development of something as a mother nurtures the development of a child, or is meant to.
The two Marys said that they were about affecting the change, affecting the ascension, bringing it about, making it happen.
Well, that is a very general, so are we. So is Archangel Michael, so is all of the Archangelic realm. We all serve various places in that process, you see. We are simply servants.
Right.
And what humanity does with what we bring is up to them, because they have everything in the universe is ruled by that one divine rule, and that is freedom of choice.
Right.
So what we give and what you use and how you use it is entirely up to you, and that will determine how it fulfills itself or not, how long it takes, how short a time it takes, whatever, you see, and how it manifests on an individual level, how it manifests on a group level, and how it manifests through the inclusion of the overall development of the divine plan.
I saw you as being your realm a natural connection to the two Marys, mostly because of the whole Jesus story, and then of course, so I really didn't have any idea how you would respond to the question, but it seemed to be a natural one to ask you. And the nurturing idea is an interesting one. Is there anything more that you would say about that to clarify? I realize you're talking about the nurturing of life would be something that we would explore with that.
Well, it's the nurturing of life, and it's the nurturing of the love force. Do you see? Because the awakening of the Christ story And the birth of the Christ with Mary is the birth of the soul, of the awakening of the soul in matter.
Right.
And the feminine, why do you think the earth is referred to as she? Do you see?
Right.
The Mother Earth. It's not called the Father Earth.
Right.
It's the Mother Earth. Because it refers to how manifested form nurtures the development of the experience and expression of life as a spiritual, physical process when awakened together as one.
Right.
And the Divine Mother is representative of giving birth to the awakened soul in matter through the Christ consciousness and nurturing the process, you see?
Right.
Nurturing the preparation of that,
Right.
you see?
Well, Gabriel, I have asked the questions I wanted to ask. I want to thank you very much for contributing to our understanding of the issues that we've discussed.
We are most joyous to be in your divine presence. And so as we take our leave, we would leave with a blending, a moment that we ask you to just indulge us by imagining as a child would imagine us, Gabriel, as that pinpoint of blue light in your mind's eye, and see it grow to an elliptic of light that encompasses the height, depth, and breadth of all that you are, as we lend our energies of love and light to support you on your journey of the soul's awakening. We say, so be it. We thank you for allowing us to be in your divine presence at this time, and as we take your most joyous leave, we ask always, as you are able to remember, to love one another.
Thank you.